Hey everybody, this is Sarah. Welcome back to Overkill Reviews. This is Banger's weekly heavy metal review show. You don't see me much around these parts anymore because I am super busy in Finland with my life and with Smoulder, which is my epic heavy metal band. We just finished our second studio album. It will be released in 2023, and you will see us playing in the Czech Republic, Germany, Poland, France, and a whole bunch of other countries next year. So yeah, let's get into it.
Do it. Do it.
Before I jump into the review, I've got a shout out from one of our Patreon donors, Derek Jarman. Thanks for supporting Banger, Derek. Appreciate that. The two albums that he wants to recommend are both by post-metal bands, starting with the letter A. The first band is called Absent in Body. The album he is recommending is called Plague God. And Absent in Body is one of those supergroups that are mixing Neurosis, Amun-Ra, and Sepultura. They are sludgy and harsh. The other band that he wanted to recommend, they are called Astodan, and their release is called Evora. It's melodic, atmospheric, soaring, emotional. It's a good palate cleanser following Absent in Body. Okay, let's get into the review.
Do it.
This week, I'm going to be discussing a very low and slow death doom album by a band made up of one Canadian and one American. And these two guys are part of, collectively, a lot of very important underground heavy metal bands. Let's get into it. Sounds great, hey? This is the new album from Dream Unending. It's called Song of Salvation, and it's out November 11th via $20 spin. So now it's time for the bio. Dream Unending formed in 2021, and they are comprised of two members, Canadian guitarist and bassist Derek Vella of To Mold and Outer Heaven, alongside American drummer and vocalist Justin DeTore of Devil's Dare, Innumerable Forms, Solemn Lament, Stone Dagger, Summerland, Special Claret, and a whole bunch more bands. Their 2021 debut, Tide Turns Eternal, was highly celebrated. It hit numerous best of lists for that year. Why? Because it skillfully delivered a dreamy, crushing amalgam of Peaceville 3 style death doom, in particular Anathema, with the spacious lavishness of Cocteau Twins. Self-described as Dream Doom, Dream Unending very quickly have followed up their debut with Song of Salvation. Does the album live up to the potential of their debut, or are they trying to get out too little too quickly? Let's find out. So, death doom discrepancy. Compared to the debut, this album feels consistently quieter and more delicate than Tide Turns Eternal, which is consistently absolutely crushing and, in my opinion, peaks on In Cypher I Weep. Meanwhile, Song of Salvation is consistently quiet and slower, playing more with the dream of the Dream Doom tag that the band has self-adopted. In that sense, it does feel like the band consciously decided to remove more of the death metal elements and focus/explore more of the minimalistic elements of their music. You can hear it on the dreamy murmur of voices. Here. This album does feel quieter and less death metal dominated, but that doesn't mean that the death metal is gone. Hell, it's very prominent on the opening track, which is called Song of Salvation, and in my opinion, that is the strongest song on the album. Mostly because on it, the band has really nailed what I think is the most important part of death doom, which is the whole heavy sonic tapestry element that's necessary for death doom to reach Olympian heights. So we're going to listen to a segment of that song. Let me preface this by saying that it's extremely hard to pick out 30-second parts from 14+ minute songs, especially Death Doom songs, because they aren't really meant to be heard this way. So yeah, here's a segment from Song of Salvation. Oh, but before I go to point 3, I'm supposed to make an organic Twitch or Patreon comment. I don't know how to do anything organically because I am extremely awkward. So y'all should throw money at us because this stuff costs money. All right, so guest parts that actually improve the music. This is a pet peeve of mine. So there are a lot of people who are attempting to get attention for their band who don't inherently seem to understand that guest musicians and guest vocalists are really only a good thing when they actually contribute something vital to your sound. And on that note, the guest musicians here are actually benefiting the album and Dream Unending's sound. And I know it's easier to have a guest musician who does that when your band only has 2 people. But the bigger point is, bands, you don't need guest solos or guest vocalists from more famous musicians than you when your songwriting isn't getting you the fans in the first place.
You know I'm talking to you, some of you.
But I digress. Let's talk about how this applies to Dream Unending. First up, we have some guest vocals and guest trumpets on track Secret Grief. The vocals are from Phil Swanson, who I've introed in other reviews. Phil Swanson, who you can hear on projects like Hour of 13, Smith and Swanson. I'm pretty sure he did something with Atlantean Codex. He's also done Solemn Lament. This guy's got a huge resume and back catalog. And then we have trumpet from Leela Abdul Rauf, who is one of my favorite Death Doom bands of all time, which is fucking Vastum. She's very cool. I like her a lot. A lot of modern Death Doom feels kind of boring, but thankfully, after listening to this record many times and having many aha moments where I picked up on things I hadn't previously heard, I can confidently say that Dream Unending does not suffer from this problem. Instead, they've integrated a very dreamy array of sounds that really bloom with repeated listens. And while I don't find this album as instantly likable as their debut, I do think that time will be very kind to this record. I do wish it was consistently heavier like the debut, but I appreciate that the band is exploring and going in new directions. And for those reasons, I'm giving it 4 skulls out of 5 here on Overkill Reviews. What do you think of the record? Leave a comment. Now it's time for the shoutouts, which you know I love doing because I spent all day every day listening to bands on Bandcamp. And it's been a while since I did a deep dive into Death Doom. And I decided to do a lot of exploring lately, and I've missed out on some truly stellar releases as of late. So without further ado, I would highly recommend that you listen to the EP by Borboropsis. I think I said that wrong. Sorry, Borboropsis. The album is called Decorticated Burial of Delirium. This one is very heavy, very crushing Death Doom. And I recently had it recommended to me by a friend. It's only 24 minutes long, but god damn does this band leave me wanting more. Next up on my recommendations is the brand new album by Mother of Graves. The record is called Where the Shadows Adorn. This one is of the quieter variety of Death Doom with ample gothic integrations. Definitely for fans of Paradise Lost. It is out now on Wise Blood Records. Finally, I would like to give a second shout out after Blaine to Jade's stunning new album, The Pacification of Death. Blaine mentioned that in Metal Monthly, and here's like a power-up. Like, just imagine me, like, at the end of the Mario level, I'm, like, running to the flagpole and then riding it down, and that's the sound, the power-up sound. That's an extra recommendation for Pacification of Death, because it's quite good. Thanks for watching. I've got another review in a couple of weeks, which is totally unlike me. It turns out living in Finland's expensive. Woo! Okay, bye.